welcome Udell. Udell sits and works for Prosperity and sits in the heart of Birmingham. Um, Recently, we had a very successful launch, didn't we, Udell? Let's go back to that in a minute. Pete, sitting down there in Southampton, beautiful sunny day I can see from your orangery. So anything, Pete, first of all, you're always walking the bricks, you're going up and down in your Ford Anglia. What's going on in the UK property market?
More stability is what I would say. Certainly what we're seeing is that the vast shortage of stock is starting to affect things. And we had a little chat just before everyone joined us. It's really interesting how the rental market has accelerated at such a rate. Anywhere down here in the south to 11% a year, up to Birmingham at 17% a year. So the fact is, people still want houses. We do have a larger amount of people living in this country than we did this time last year. So we've got about 765,000 more people in the UK than we had this time last year. Guess what? They all want somewhere to live. If you take all of the countries around the world, they do gravitate within the UK to the cities that people know and love. So London will always be London. London will always have its own microcosm of climate. And a lot of people are very interested in London. Then you've got Manchester and Birmingham. I've got a particular sway where I actually think that Birmingham's got the edge on Manchester for the next 2 to 3 years. And my reasoning behind that is the amount of really great corporates that they're attracting into the work market. And obviously you've got, great education in Birmingham as well. So a lot of the youngsters will go to university in Birmingham. They'll go to university in Manchester as well, and London, and then get used to what's going on in that locality. Some of them are even going to become Aston Villa fans in the future. So, what we've got is a situation where these youngsters are feeding the market from the bottom up.
Definitely.
So those that are just finishing their university, atypically are now picking up jobs between £40,000 and £65,000 a year. And obviously then the professionals, probably £50,000 to £100,000 a year. And in particular, the accounting world and the finance world is becoming a bigger part of the market in Birmingham. They're having to pay them, would you believe it, £90,000 to £110,000 a year one, when they've come out of university. It's shocking. And guess what? You need to rent property. That's my take on it.
Definitely. That's very, very interesting, Pete, because we do have one of the highest retention rates when it comes to graduates, in the city of Birmingham. And when you come here, just in general, in the city, it's a very young, diverse city. You can feel the kind of the graduating young working professionals that are looking to obviously embark and start off in their career. So just to kind of emphasize on that as well, we do have the biggest financial centre outside of London now. So recent developments like Paradise have kind of extended our financial centre, which have obviously had big moves that have come to Birmingham and actually kind of looking for that talent pool. So they obviously know that, paying someone a salary in London compared to Birmingham, because it's 60% cheaper to buy, live and rent, the salaries are going to be less in the UK second city. So it's always got that full circle round appeal, which is fantastic. So
the thing what I like about Prosperity, of course, is the fact that you're based there, you live there, and you've got a great track record. Prosperity is unique because of your payment plan. Let's face it, it's unique.
Definitely.
And you're going to get onto that soon. But anyway, let's have a look and see what you've got, Udell. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So these are some new slides actually that I thought I'd pull out today to obviously show everyone a bit of an update on how we're growing as a business. So this is Prosperity Group. Obviously, if you've joined one of our webinars before, you know that we've got an end-to-end solution when it comes to reservation through to all the way through the process to rental management. More recently, we've added a few companies into the group, which is, showing Prosperity going from strength to strength. So just to kind of give you a quick overview, Prosperity Developments are our city centre developer. We've now ventured into the home sector with Prosperity Homes. So we're doing country homes and picking up freehold plots over in that kind of eastern area and commutable area to Greater Cambridge. We've got Prosperity Living, which is part of our BTR build to rent sector, which is a new company to the group, which Joe will be kind of expanding over the next couple of years as Birmingham obviously upgrades itself with this type of offering. Prosperity Wealth, again, that is the client-facing business that provides the payment plans, the USPs, the developments, and all the marketing, etc., that people obviously interact with on their first initial with Prosperity. Then we have Prosperity Vita, which is our social housing element, which again is a new company. So we don't get caught in that kind of paying away the big commuted sums to the local councils when they've got their big demands and all the rest of it. So it's something that we've kind of kept in-house, and we were able to control that from a developer point of view, which is great. And then Block Management, Block is a new company that we've also brought to the table to kind of look after that longer-term growth and values. So whenever a project or a building is going through its aging process, we want to make sure that the maintenance of that building is looked after really well, and rental kind of block management fees and things don't go out of the roof. They are obviously all kept to the RPI index. And then last but least is Lamont & Co., which is our rental management business. So a lot of things going on at Prosperity, which is fantastic. We're very, very excited to show everybody how we're growing from growth to growth. Every year, we're coming, thinking about new things to obviously make sure that our end solution and our solutions for our clients meet their expectations, to make sure that they invest with us again.
Thanks, Udell. So you've got some great new additions there. I didn't know about that. I was quite interested for a minute there.
So Vita, a couple of bullet points on Vita. This is a company that we're obviously growing over the next couple of years, which is going to be fantastic. It's more kind of approached directed at the housing and at the freehold housing sites, which is fantastic. We know about Lamont & Co. Lamont & Co. is pretty new as well to the group. But again, it's going from strength to strength. You can see there 98% occupancy rate for our kind of national units and developments that we've obviously done throughout the process, which is fantastic. So really, really exciting for us. And then the biggest and newest exciting one is obviously the block management. So the block management, again, is making sure that long-term service element is looked after really well for the clients, and making sure that the buildings are looked after really well without any hikes of service charges, that have been kind of known in the industry.
It's a hot topic at the moment, isn't it, Udell? Upping service charges. It's a hot topic.
Certainly is.
So I think that's a great idea to get involved in that and give people peace of mind.
Yeah,
can I just add that one of the things I think separates and lifts Prosperity is that their service is so important to them that it's their future clients that they're serving, because great news travels fast, but so does bad news. There are some horror stories out there which there have been one or two companies that we had got involved in, that we inherited, that they gave awful service. The one thing that Prosperity do is give good service every time. So if you get something go wrong with your property, they will be able to resolve it with one of their companies. So they've got people specializing in these individual companies. Don't go thinking, oh, they've got 6 or 7 companies. No, it's effectively one company with true focus on each area. And I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, spot on, Pete. Thank you very much. So lovely stuff. Many of you, again, that have joined our previous webinars would have known of Prosperity's track record and just where we sit within the industry. Since we've been going since 2007, we're up to around about 5,500 units as a total as a developer. So nearly 3,000 of those units are Birmingham centric. So this kind of positions Prosperity as the UK's largest homegrown developer in the UK's second city, and that's something that we're very proud of. Obviously, it takes a lot of oomph to get through the humps and all the hoops that you have to jump through to obviously get a scheme to the table to then start building. But that's typically where we stand in regards to new build sites in and around the UK. Then we've embarked on this this sector where we do new homes, so new homes and country homes, and we're going to be doing smart homes as well in the near future, which is very, very exciting, which we know that the industry is going to be kind of gravitating more towards as well, which is good. So we've got this going on, and then I don't know how much you know about Prosperity, but nearly 2,000 units permitted PDR conversion build. So that's the kind of the third prong of our business. So we have new build, big city, country houses, freehold housing, and then we have PDR, permitted development rights, conversion build projects. We're often on the suburban towns of the bigger cities where we find there's still a great rental demand, but we also look for that common kind of thing where we know the key drivers for that type of product is also needed and required in those areas. So it puts us well on the map when we come to developing in smaller places like Derby, Walsall, Nottingham, and these areas around the East Midlands. Handovers, where we stand in regards to handovers, we've got a lot going on, which is fantastic. So this is just to kind of show people what we've been doing in regards to previous clients that have already been on payment plans, going through the process. So this here, just kind of counted up, this is like 850 units that are going through completions currently. So between now and the next couple of months, these will all be completing throughout the process, because obviously we've got clients that are now finished their payment plans and then embarking onto securing mortgages. And then we'll obviously can secure tenants to obviously start the generation of income from these properties. Okay, so that's us, track record, a bit of a fly through that section there, just to kind of give you a bit of an insight. Obviously, we know once you've connected up with your advisor, we'll be more than happy to kind of sit down more and kind of give you a more enlightening overview of how that all works and where we've done and where we've come to. The juicy part is all about the USPs of our products. Now, we like to say we facilitate, we enable, we add value. And a common thing that I always say to everybody is all the millionaires around the world, when we look at review their pension portfolios and what wealth they have, real estate is a massive part of that kind of wealth. So if we can help our clients worldwide access UK property investments with a small exposure and as little commitment as possible, then that is a win-win for us. So this is our kind of USP to helping people access this market and get into a product and get onto the buy-to-let investment ladder. So typical structure, Chris is sitting with me today. I'm going to offer Chris my fantastic product here, purchase price of 219,000. How it works is Chris will reserve and lock in a reservation with me with only 5%, which is the grey area right at the bottom there, which is a 5% reservation deposit to secure that purchase price, lock in that pounds per square foot, and reserve his place within the building. Now, typically, we know that Birmingham, for instance, is growing at an exponential rate at the moment, anything between 4 and 7% per annum as a growth area. So if we're helping clients like Chris access this investment with only a 5% reservation deposit, it means that Chris will be able to kind of benefit from the further growth, which is on the headline value of the property during the construction build. So the stage 2 process of the payment, which you can see is the yellow section there, we know that typically when we come to completion, we will need, and Chris will need, a buy-to-let investment deposit ready for the lender to lend against the balance. So we just help Chris do a regular savings plan, which is low exposure, low commitment for Chris. He follows the schedule, follows the structure as we build the site, creating that full transparency between Prosperity and the client. So, you know, clients know that things are progressing forward, and that's the big thing about this journey, is putting the clients in the driving seat so they can see and understand and know where we work to. Once we reach completion, obviously 3-4 months before completion, we start shopping the market to understand what rates and what things we're looking at to obviously get them completed. That's typically the structure of what we work to.
Udell, a question's just come in, and please do send questions in at the bottom of the screen. You know how to do it, or if you know my WhatsApp, do it. That question: Okay, if somebody has already got their 30%, let's
Mhm.
just say, and it's sitting in their bank account, and they want to just get that paid and then wait for it to be built, that's still possible?
Oh, of course, of course. So your payment plan process is just the minimum requirements that we require to take
Yeah.
from a client to obviously build their deposit. So if you've got readily funds that you want to deploy towards your investment, of course, there's no rush in doing that, but we like to keep our clients, low exposed throughout this process, to make sure that
Thanks.
you're in the clear.
Thanks, Udell. And I do
Okay.
my usual health warning. Always speak to us, speak to the mortgage broker. We've got a team of mortgage brokers that we can put you in touch with. Everybody's different. It's a good idea to get an offer in principle. Offer in principle. That's all you can do until the real one kicks in and we recommend 6 months before completion. But that's my health warning. Sorry, Udell, I interrupted
definitely.
you.
It's always good to get fact findings done and just understand what we work into. Obviously, today's rates and what's happening today is a bit of a cloudy indicative, knowing that we're working towards a 2.5-year completion. But typically, we can identify what we're going to be working with in regards to clients' occupations, passport holders, etc., to make sure that we can secure finance for them upon completion. So Birmingham story so far. So many of you that probably well know about Birmingham already, classed as the UK's second city. We are known as, how can I say this? We are known as the workshop of the world, the city with 1,000 trades. We've never had great infrastructure. And throughout this decade that Birmingham are going through this huge change, residential, retail, commercial values are just going up and up and up and up. And the infrastructure play is one of the biggest things that's causing that effect of growth on the pounds per square foot. So as I was saying before, the HS2 here, many of you know what the HS2 is. It's a high-speed rail that's going to be connecting Birmingham to London with a travelling time of 45 to 50 minutes. This is going to be a huge game changer for Birmingham, and people commuting into the city and finding more opportunity where they can buy, live and rent in Birmingham for cheaper than London, but also Birmingham people accessing the capital for maybe higher paid jobs, etc., etc. So we've already seen the big turnaround of big employers flock to Birmingham on the back of the HS2. So we know that this is a big game changer for us. As well as that, the multi-million pounds worth of tram extension that's happening in the city just really kind of upgrades a city in regards to commuter belt and how people commute greenly around our city centre's core. So this is something that's obviously going to have a knock-on effect to property values as well. So we always say to people, don't invest in somewhere that's already got thriving infrastructure and all these things already done. You invest somewhere that's going through that change or going through that upgrade, because once it's done, you take the benefits of that when it has been completed. This type of thing doesn't happen again in 50 years or 100 years time from now. Birmingham's infrastructure has been very infant, but where we go, and it's a game changer. We're calling it the golden decade, the city at the brink of change, which is fantastic. Other projects like Smithfield, which are going to be supporting the HS2, is obviously the first neighbourhood of the city centre's core as the high street slowly migrates south. That's going to be supporting all of that infrastructure play in and around that kind of central part of Birmingham. So I've got a small video here now to kind of just introduce the phase 3 building, Smithfield House, which is located in central Birmingham. Again, going to be supporting that whole kind of upgraded infrastructured area. And we're really excited because phase 1, phase 2 as
I hope it's got good backing. Well. I hope it's got good backing music.
Of course.
Go on, let's watch it. Get it on. Stop it.
Yeah,
get it
got
on.
a bit of a video here now to show you. So hopefully, let's see how this goes. Give you a bit of an overview. Fantastic stuff. So that's
Wow, Udell. That I actually quite enjoyed that music. So everybody in Birmingham is very fit, very healthy, and very beautiful. I got that. I got it. They all healthy food. They all go cycling and running.
That's Birmingham. Yeah, of course, that's the Birmingham lifestyle. So we're basically trying to say is Smithfield House will be a unique product. So as well as offering first-class amenities within the building, so your typical gym, your cinema, your dining occasion kitchen, your roof gardens, your office spaces, and your kind of leisure areas, etc. We're now offering Smithfield House will own country homes in Lake Windermere, the Lake District, where tenants of our building will be able to use their country house as a like-for-like property, as an extension to their amenity, 3-4 times a year for a long weekend, 3 or 4 days as a break. So we kind of package it together as city living with escape into the country, and it's just phenomenal. I just really feel that.
Sorry, so let's get that right. And how much does that cost? So if you bought in Smithfield, you can go up to Lake Windermere. It's a mere, not a lake. For a long weekend, a long bank holiday weekend, and you pay. What do you pay?
So we'll have a booking system. Smithfield House owns the country houses in Lake Windermere, so it doesn't cost the tenants a thing. It's all part of their package, and all part of it's an extended part of their residences, which we like to say, city living with the escaping to the country, which is, it's something unique, something new, something to kind of keep, that kind of lifestyle, and, make sure that everyone's kind of utilizing those services and connected, of course.
Udell, there'll be people on here that don't know the UK as well as you do. Windermere is. Yeah. Sorry, I'm doing my bit now. I'm just giving you a rest. Okay. I'm giving you a rest. So Windermere is part of the Lake District up there in Lancashire, and it is probably, Pete'll argue, says Cornwall, but arguably one of the most, I would say, top 5 beautiful places to be in England. I think everyone would agree that it's a beautiful, beautiful area. And from Birmingham up to Windermere, I'm talking 50 minutes in a car.
It's a little bit longer than that. It is a couple of hours. However, you can. Car. Yeah, I know. Tesla. You can travel by train, of course. But it's just this added benefit, you're going to be getting a like-for-like specification of a property, just like your residences within.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What a great add-on. What a great. Now I was with you in Birmingham in December, so I now know the Bullring is that big shopping centre, and there's the church. That I met, I was there obviously waiting for you. And then you've got that area that you drove me to, which is in the grey, Smithfield House. Correct. Okay. So it sits right in the middle of there. At the moment, that is a flat bit of land, isn't it, Udell?
Correct. Yeah. So the Smithfield master plan area is a 17 hectare site. And to find 17 hectares of land in a big city's core area is just impossible. You try and do it in Barcelona, you try and do it in London, you're on the Thames. It doesn't exist. So we're saying, this regeneration of this area, which is going to have loads of big moves. There's going to be the city's biggest public square, loads of leisure facilities. There'll be loads of retail, over 1 million square foot of office space. So can you imagine the kind of population growth and people that we're going to bring to Smithfield and this area? We are the only private developer that's building Smithfield residential projects supporting this master plan. And the beauty of it is the Smithfield area is the first neighbourhood that's going to support the UK's biggest infrastructure play. So as you can see down here, the HS2 is the UK's biggest infrastructure rail taking place right now. when you come to Birmingham, Smithfield will be the first neighbourhood that you interact with, because it's the Birmingham's high street, it's the Birmingham's city centre core. That's where, you know, you're home to everything, if that makes sense, which is just phenomenal. So yeah, it's going to be home to the Bull Ring and all this area, and we'll also have the tram extension, which will connect all of this.
Can I dive in, please, Udell?
Yes, of course.
One of the things I just want to make everyone that is considering buying a property in Birmingham just be really mindful that when they listed the first Smithfield project, it was sold in a heartbeat. And many of our potential clients miss out on it. I don't think they believed us when we said this is not going to hang around. Trust me, this is not going to hang around. And once it's gone, there won't be any more in this location. There can't be. You know, there are other areas. If you look at the back of that map, Digbeth, personally, I think parts of Digbeth are off pitch. And I think that the Smithfield area is going to be the place to be. It's the place to buy your investments. So please just try and listen to us when we say, if you really are interested in making a medium to longer term investment, which is what you should all be doing with property, this is the place to go. Please don't underestimate, and please don't think you're going to be able to come back to me next year and say, oh, have you got something in Birmingham that's in the right place? Because I'm going to say, we did have last year.
And that's bang on, Pete. You know, Smithfield is the most connectable area of the city. You know, you got the little red dots right in the city centre core of a big city. That's Smithfield. Once in a lifetime opportunity. And yeah, this is basically the crown to the city. And we're just delighted that we've been one of the, the only private developer that has, worked hard over the last 10 years to obviously land bank and being able to submit a master plan application to obviously build schemes to support this master plan area. So,
Chris, can I just ask you to share just for 1 second the situation with your it was a friend that you'd convinced to buy a BTR property. Could you just give us just a minute on what happened there? Because this is going to be atypical of Smithfield House.
But I'm not quite sure which story, so you have to tell me a bit more.
Sue Kim. And what
happened? Yeah. Oh, so yes, she is a friend and still is a friend. And I was chatting to her, what do you do, etc., etc. I told her, now she's from South Korea, working in Dubai and language and everything else. But anyway, she was interested, and we put a deal together for her. Because of the lawyers, because of the mortgage, translation, bank accounts being translated, it was hard work. I can say hard work. But we got there, and she completed, and she sent me a message only last week, which I sent on to Pete. And she got there, it rented out in 2 days, and the tenant's in, and I've just Googled it. I bought it for 100. This is genuine, by the way. It's not. I'm not made. I bought it at 170,000. I've just been on Rightmove, and it's now worth 270,000.
Wow.
So from her booking it, going through all that trouble, and it was a pain. I was trying to avoid her, to be honest. If she's listening, I tried to avoid her. But we got there. We got there in the end, and what a great story! And that
it's a great story, but it's what's going to come. It's what's going to come at us with Birmingham. I genuinely believe, if you're looking to build an investment portfolio, and everybody should have properties in their portfolio, in my opinion, it's bricks and mortar. It never fails over the medium term. It's not going to fail now. It's the perfect position in the buying cycle. We suffered that slow period because of the mortgage rates. We're now going to come out of that. If you guys that are interested are gonna buy, do it now. Don't procrastinate. Procrastination is a thief. It will take away the profit from you, because as this starts to go properly, the costs have to increase, because we can't get planning permissions anymore these days. It's so difficult. So that's all I'll say to you.
Yeah, the housing demand in the UK in general is a nightmare anyway. But when we come to looking at economies like Birmingham, Nottingham, Manchester, where we've got this influx of retention rate of graduates, and then we've got big employers coming to a location, and then all these things kind of trickle into one, which creates this absolute monster of a demand in a local marketplace. And that's what that's what's happening in Birmingham right now. So whenever we've got things going on, Birmingham is never going to be slowing down. We're literally 35% into a regeneration cycle. We've got so much more to go, so much more to offer. But and just to kind of reiterate, the rental demand, when we spoke about the rental demand earlier on in regards to the market, we found that even though the mortgage rates, inflation and things are starting to slow down and improve, which we know they'll be improving over the next 2 years, etc., we've still found that rental values are still going up. We've seen something like 17% growth since June 2023 in rental values. That's like a 5-year projection. That's happened in Birmingham.
Somebody sent me a message saying, "Can we know the prices, please? Because I've got to go to another meeting." So
yes,
I also, we can come on to the numbers.
Definitely. So one beds are going to be starting from around about 220 grand, and two beds will be starting from around about 350,000. And then we're doing a 30-month payment plan. Again, 30-month payment plan, 35, 65. So it'll be a 5% reservation deposit with a 65% loan to value upon completion. So 5% res, 30%, 1% per month over the term. If you feel that you want to do quarterly, you can do quarterly, but the 1% payment is the minimum payment per month.
Another question, Udell, car parking, or is that a bad word?
So if you can imagine, if I'm a doctor and I drive to Southampton every day, I wouldn't be living in Birmingham city centre's core if I had a car. This is more of a commuter belt, working professional that's in and around the infrastructure. So car parking is not really necessary for these type of buildings in Birmingham city centre core, as we're attracting an audience that doesn't require parking. So no parking at this development. But would there be there surely would be parking somewhere in that big redevelopment area? Definitely. So in Birmingham's city centre in general, anywhere, you'll get a lot of season passes and a lot of parking stories that you can obviously park if you did have a vehicle, if you was a tenant to one of these buildings, of course. So yeah, it really kind of there's a lot of ample solutions that you can find in Birmingham city centre to make sure that works. But yeah, so just going back to Smithfield, guys, this is the crown of the city. It's the part that's going to change the face of Birmingham and be the most connected area, connecting up to the HS2. So we're really excited about it. We are at its infancy of bringing up and upgrading this part of Birmingham. So yeah, it's very, very exciting for us. I don't know if you've obviously seen from our phase 1, phase 2, but Smithfield in general has a lot of history. So we're just recreating that kind of historic past that it has from its trading back in the days. As I was saying to you before, we are a manufacturing city, and I think that, look there, we've got a tram that's running.
That's a great shot, Udell. Yeah. So for people on here going, okay, well, he mentioned one bed's 220. So 220, put 5% down, so that's 11,000. You've got to pay some solicitors' fees, so let's take another £1,000 on top of that. Then you sit back. We've done the mortgage, by the way. We've already done the mortgage. You sit back. You pay £1,800 a month for 30 months, 2.5 years. At that stage, you've obviously paid your 30%, and then mortgage kicks in for the other 70. So am I right? Have I put those figures in my head together correctly?
Thereabouts, Chris, correct. It's a 35-65 payment plan. So yeah, it'll be 30% over the term, of course. So typically, I think for the one beds that we do have available, you probably be working on a minimum of around about two and a half grand-ish as a payment plan. Yeah.
Okay. I was just trying to give people.
Yeah. That's fine, no problem at all. And it's always going to be subject to availability as well, guys. So obviously the availability, once you've kind of checked in with your advisor, we can make sure that we look at the affordability factor, go through the units that are available, and kind of give you that overview to make sure you understand how it all works.
And also, we've obviously got floor plans. So
Yes.
you may want, I mean, we're looking at that picture now, overlooking the courtyard, or you may want one on the outside looking at the city. You may want some on the south, so you get the sun. You may want something, whatever. But they all come at a price. I guess the higher up the building you go, the more expensive they get. But that story I told earlier, by the way, it just dawned on me. Because of the pricing and the way we had to structure it for Sue Kim, I hope she don't mind me doing this, we went for a first floor, 1 bedroom. And of course, everybody wants high, people just like a high floor, but we went for the cheapest one. I'll be honest, we went for the cheapest one at 170. And that's what happened. They are priced accordingly. That's what I tell people.
Of course, it's an investment product.
You've got more slides up there. This is getting good. How many slides have you got?
Yeah, so this is it now. This is the end. So this is just kind of reiterating on the obviously the amenities in the building. So first class amenities, guys. There's nothing less being in the central core of Birmingham. Never leave home. That's the mantra. It's this is what it is.
So what's the next process? If we've got some clients listening in today, say this looks really good, what do we have to do next?
So typically reservation process will be sitting down with your advisor, talking about going through your affordability, what you can afford on a monthly basis. To secure and place a reservation with Prosperity, all we require, we'll obviously explore the units with you, but we fill out a reservation form with the booking of the order for the unit of interest, along with a passport ID and a proof of address dated in the last 3 months. Once those documents have been collected, we'll then send you like an official welcome pack and a welcome letter with your outlined structure to your payment plan and what deposits are required to secure the booking of the unit. And then there you start your payment plan of your 30-month structure. And then we just kind of give you that roadmap and that timeline to follow. And then throughout that process, we'll make sure that we provide you with quarterly updates throughout that time to make sure that you're well in the know-how of how we're progressing, what we're doing next, and how things are, what's basically going on with the process.
Udell, we're just about to finish, I know that. But somebody's actually just sent me a thing, said, I'm buying in your previous launch in the mill in Derby. So far, so good. It's all looking good. But I'm just reading this at the bottom. It has a phrase, are there any available? I'll short circuit that one. Are there still any available down in Derby?
Yes, there is actually. And that's the development that's gone really, really well with Holborn. So yes, we do still have units in the mill. So please get in contact and we'll obviously talk you through the details and the price points and the payment plan, because the payment plan has reduced because we're progressing now towards a closer completion date than when we launched it.
Something I just want to add is that both you, Del, who I've got the highest regard for, is very, very professional, and also Chris Allen, they're there to serve you. And so to the wealth managers that are listening in, please try and use the services that they're offering. They cost you absolutely nothing. These guys, they're there to assist, and they've got a lot more knowledge about it than you're ever going to get. So I would just advise you to, use them and abuse them in a very professional way, because they're absolutely superb at what they do, and they will be able to give you great content and detail.
Definitely.
Thanks, Pete. Udell, I'm looking forward to a weekend in that country house on Windermere. I would like to book 2 weeks in July. Is that okay? I'll see you then. Thank you, Udell. That was great. Absolutely. That webinar, by the way, as well as many other webinars we've done, are on the Holborn website. So please look. Thank you, everybody. Reach out to your wealth manager. Reach out to us directly if you want more information, or if you just want to have a chat. All the best, everybody. See you next week.
Cheers. Thank you very much, guys.